Hello, and welcome to part 12, five-corner situations. In our last video, we finished looking at four-corner situations, and if you missed that, go ahead and click here to get back to part 12. In this video, the first type of situation that we're going to look at with five unsolved corners is where all five of those unsolved corners need permutation. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that. Holding your cube with red in front and white on top, let's go ahead and do a commutator on the right side. And then do another commutator. And as you know by now, that takes us to our basic starting position. Okay, now let's hold the cube with orange on top and orange on top and white in the front. Okay, and let's do another commutator on the right side. Okay, that is going to give us a situation where we have four unsolved corners on the top and one unsolved corner on the bottom, as you can see. And again, as I mentioned, all five of these corners need permutation. Okay, basically here's how it's going to work. Okay, we have five corners to solve. The first commutator that we use is going to solve two of the five corners. That, of course, will leave us with three corners. Then we'll do a second commutator to solve those last three corners. Now you might ask, why not start off solving three of them? Okay, why not use our commutator to solve three of the five? And the answer is because we can't. Okay, it's another aspect of cube theory. If we were to solve three of these five, then that would leave us with two corners needing permutation. And that's a situation that you just won't see with a Rubik's Cube. So our first commutator, our goal, is to solve two of them. Okay? So go ahead and look at the cube with the red in front and white on the top. You'll notice on top we've got those four unsolved corners and that one on the bottom. But if you hold the cube with orange on the top, you'll notice that looking at the orange side, we have only three unsolved corners on top, which means we have two on the bottom. Okay? And you're going to see both of these situations. Four on the top, one on the bottom, or three on the top, two on the bottom. And the only reason I'm pointing it out is because one is not any more difficult than the other one. Okay? So don't be worried about that. Okay? So let's go ahead and start working on it. If you look at the red side, you'll notice that I have a piece which is already oriented correctly, this red, green, and white piece. It's adjacent to where it belongs, as you can tell. Okay, and a way that you can do it without even rotating the top of the cube like that is just looking at the color. I have a green sticker here. I need green in the front, so I know that that green sticker is going to move here. Uh-oh. We've got a little cat interference here. We'll see if he lets me keep working. So we're gonna do a commutator to solve this first corner on the left. Oh, he's moving on. Basically, what we're gonna do, get out of the way. What we're gonna do is we're gonna be solving two corners, right? Which means if you think about our commutator, we're gonna be solving two of the three corners that we use in our commutator. And we've never done that before. So let's talk about that for just a minute. Okay? Which two corners do we want to solve? Well, obviously we want to solve this first corner, right? That piece is going to move there. Okay? The easiest way that I find to do it is to solve the first corner and the third corner of my commutator. Because the third corner is going to move here when this piece moves here. Okay? Another way to think of it is we're not going to try to solve this piece. Okay? White, blue, and orange. In fact, you don't even need to look at that or care about that. We're going to solve corner number one, and we're going to look for the piece that belongs here. What piece belongs here? Well, as I can see, it's going to be white, red, and blue. Okay? Where is that piece? Here it is. Red, white, and blue. This white sticker needs to move here. So I need a conjugate just to move it to the front. White goes in front. That tells me that white sticker is going to go here. Okay? Now I perform my commutator on the left side. That's one. Rotate this piece up. And undo our conjugate. That's going to leave us with 3 unsolved corners. Okay? And from here, we're going to see that it's not too difficult. Okay? What do you notice here? Well, I notice that I have a blue, white, and orange piece. It's adjacent to where it belongs, but you're going to notice that there's a little bit of a problem with it. I need orange sticker here, right? And that orange sticker is on the bottom. Okay? Now, I could use it, but if you remember, we'd have to move it over and then bring that orange sticker up to the blue side to get it in front. And I'd rather not do that. There's going to be a better way, okay, a simpler way. So let's look at another piece. How about this one? This orange is oriented correctly. That yellow goes here. I need blue to go here, and there it is. So easy conjugate, I just move the blue to the front. And now I perform a commutator one more time to solve these last 3 pieces. And we are done. Okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at another scenario. Holding your cube again, red, white, blue on the right side. Let's go ahead and do a commutator. And then I want you to hold the cube with orange on the top and white in the front. Okay? And go ahead and do another commutator on the right side. Just like that. Okay? What does that give us? Well, again, that's going to give us 5 unsolved corners. And again, all 5 of them need permutation. As you can see, looking at the white side, I got 4 on the top and 1 on the bottom. Okay? Looking at the top of the cube, I see a white sticker here. Tells me it's already oriented, this piece. And that this piece I can see is also adjacent to where it belongs. Okay? So, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to solve this piece and the piece that moves to this location. What piece is going to move here? Well, it's going to be blue, white, and red. Where is that piece? Blue, white, and red. Here it is. So I need this blue to come down to the front, just like before. And now I do my left side commutator. What's that going to leave me with? Well, I just solved 2 of the 5, so of course that leaves me with 3 unsolved corners. Okay? Are these corners good? Well, that's what we need to look for, right? We need to look at each one of these 3 pieces and say, is it a good piece or is it not a good piece? Okay? Well, looking at this piece here, this piece is orange, green, and white. I can see that I can create I can do a conjugate here to bring this green sticker up to the top, like that. And you'll also notice by doing that, this white sticker is now adjacent to where it belongs, right? That piece is going to look like that. Okay? What do I need here? Well, I need blue to match this blue. And where's that blue sticker? It's right on top. So I just have to bring it down. So a second conjugate. Now I perform my commutator. And undo my 2 conjugates. Okay? You might need to do that one a little more slowly than I did it. That one could mess you up when you're undoing your conjugates there. Okay, let's take a look at another situation. Again, commutator on the right side. Hold the cube now with red on top, yellow in the front. Let's do another commutator on the right side. What does that give us? Well, again, we've got 5 unsolved corners. Okay, in this case, I've got 3 unsolved on the white side and 2 unsolved on the bottom. Okay, let's take a look at this red piece. I see that this red piece is oriented correctly. It's also adjacent to where it belongs. What piece belongs here? Well, as I can see, it's going to be the white piece. Okay, the question is which white piece, which white sticker goes here? Is it this one? And we need to be careful because we have 5 unsolved corners now. So there could be more than 1 white sticker. So like there's a white sticker here, on this unsolved piece, but there's also a white sticker on this unsolved piece. So we need to be careful. Well, let's take a look. We need the piece here. The piece that goes here is going to be white, red, and green. So it's not this piece, it's this piece. Red, white, and green. And in this piece, we need the white sticker to go here. Well, do you see what situation we have? It's the one we had just a minute ago, where the sticker that we want is on the bottom, which isn't very easy because it means we have to bring it off to the side and then bring it up to the front of the cube. Okay? You could do it that way, and you might even find that you prefer to do it that way. I'd rather not because it makes it too easy to make a mistake undoing those conjugates. So I like to look for a different piece. So let's look for a different piece. Let's see. Looking around the cube, what else? I see another oriented piece. This yellow sticker is oriented. Is it adjacent? Yes, it is. Okay? But you're going to see the same problem with this one. What color goes here? Red. Which red goes here? Is it this one? Or is it this one? Again, we need to be careful. So we take a look. I need red, yellow, and green. Here it is. Red, yellow, green. But do you see the problem again? The sticker that we want, red, is on the bottom. So I'm not going to use that piece. So let's keep looking. Okay? And this is kind of the trial and error process that you'll go through when you have 5 corners. You'll need to take your time, look at the corners, and figure out which ones are good and which ones are not. So let's look at another one. I also see that I have a white, blue, and orange piece, which is not oriented correctly, but it can be oriented correctly with a conjugate. So if I bring this white sticker up to the top, that means it's oriented correctly. And I also see that this orange sticker belongs here, so I know that it's adjacent to where it belongs. Okay? But I'm not ready to do my commutator yet. I also want to look at the piece that's going to move here. Okay? Which piece is going to move here? Well, it's going to be a yellow one. The question is, which yellow one? Well, it's going to be yellow and red and blue. And here it is. Yellow, red, and blue. So I need this yellow sticker to go here, which means I need to rotate it around to the front. Okay? Now I'm going to do a left side commutator, and I just need to remember when I'm done that I have to undo these 2 conjugates. So I'll do this a little slowly. Undo this conjugate, undo that conjugate. That leaves us with what? Well, 3 unsolved corners, right? We had 5, we just solved 2 of them, that leaves us with 3. Now I can do one more commutator to finish solving the cube. Looking at the cube, I see that I have a red, white, and blue piece here. Does that belong here? It does. Okay? What color goes here? White. So I need to find the white sticker, and here it is. Now, we had this same exact scenario a few videos ago when we were looking at just 3-corner situations like this, and I showed you one way to solve it. The way that I showed you to solve it was using 2 conjugates. I'm going to show you another way of solving it, which really isn't much faster. It's still 2 conjugates, but it's the way that I prefer to do it. I think it's just a little quicker and easier to recognize. So, if you have this situation where you're trying to perform your commutator, but the sticker that you need is all the way on the other side, right? So this sticker on the left side, white, needs to go on the right side. If you have that situation, you can do a conjugate with this second corner, okay, every time. It works every time. So this second corner is going to move up. And notice I just rotated that corner up to the green side, okay? Not only will you be able to move it up and orient it, it will be adjacent to where it belongs, and the color that you need here, which in this case now is blue, will always be in the same place. It'll always be hiding here in the back. Okay? So again, from this position, I move this piece up, and then I bring this piece down. And it'll always be exactly like that. Now this blue sticker is going to move here after I do my commutator. And now I undo my 2 conjugates. Okay, and hopefully that made sense. Let's move on, and now we're going to look at our second type of situation where we have we still have 5 unsolved corners, but now we're going to have a situation where only 4 of those 5 corners need permutation, which means one of the 5 is going to need orientation. So holding your cube, red in the front, let's go ahead and do our commutator again on the right side. Now let's hold the cube with blue in the front, and let's do another commutator. Now, I want you to hold the cube with red on top and green in the front. Red on top, green in the front, like that. Okay? And now we're going to do a little twisting. So, take these 2 corners that are on top, and I want you to twist this one, red, white, and blue, to the left, which means this one has to be switched to the right, twisted to the right. Now, what does that give us? Well, looking at the cube, I can see that I have 4 unsolved corners on top, all 4 of which need permutation. And like I told you, there's going to be 1 corner now that needs orientation, which is this one here on the bottom. Okay? How do we go about handling this type of situation? Well, we have 2 goals in mind. Okay? Our goal, and it's actually just like it was when we solved 4 corners, where we wanted to solve 1 corner and cycle the orientation problem, meaning get this orientation problem and move it to a different location. Okay? So, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start with this piece, red, white, and green. I see that it's already oriented right. It's adjacent to where it belongs, so that's the perfect corner to start with. Okay? But we're not going to do our commutator on these 3 corners, right? This isn't going to be my 3rd corner. This is going to be my 3rd corner because I want this piece to get caught up in the commutator so that it moves out of this location. So, right side commutator, rotate up this orientation problem, and fix it. What does that give us? Okay. Well, what that gives us is a situation now where we have 4 unsolved corners, right? We had 5. I just solved 1 of them. So that gives me 4, and I also know that all 4 of them need permutation because I took care of that 1 orientation problem. So we're back to what we looked at in the previous videos, 4 unsolved corners. Looking at the cube, I see that I've got a white sticker on top. It's adjacent to where it belongs. So I'm going to solve. I'm going to do a left side commutator. But wait, don't do it yet, because before we do it, I want you to think about which 3 pieces we want to perform the commutator on. Right? Obviously, our commutator is going to be on these 2 pieces. But what's going to be the 3rd corner? Because I have a choice, if you think about it. I can make this corner my 3rd corner by bringing it down here. And now a left side commutator would be corners 1, 2, and 3. Or I could leave this piece where it is, and I could make this my 3rd corner of my commutator. And I would do my commutator on corners 1, 2, and 3. So, which one do I want to do? Take a look at those 2 pieces and think about it. Which one would we rather do? Well, I can tell by looking at this piece that it's oriented correctly. But I can also tell that it's across from where it belongs, which means it's not a good piece. Which means it would make sense to get it out of this location and move it somewhere else where maybe we could use it. Because right now, we're not going to be able to use that piece after we solve this 1st corner. So we might as well get it out of there. So we'll do our left side commutator, and we'll include this piece. On the left side, what's that leave us with? Well, we had 4. We just solved 1. So of course that leaves us with 3 unsolved corners. I see that I have 2 on top and 1 on the bottom. Okay? And now we just finish up our last commutator. Red, white, and blue piece is going to move here. I need the blue sticker in front. Here it is. So I just bring it up. Right side commutator. And finish. Okay? So, I want to show that to you again, because there's one other thing that we need to talk about. So let's go ahead and recreate that situation. Okay, so again, commutator on the right side, and then we did a second one, right, with blue in the front. And what did we do? We held the cube with red on the top and green in the front. Red on the top, green in the front. If you remember what we did next, we twisted these two corners, this one to the left, this one to the right. Okay? So, what situation did that give us? Well, it gave us 5 unsolved corners, 4 corners on top needing permutation, and that one orientation problem on the bottom. Now, take a look at the different pieces in this scenario. Okay, this situation is actually kind of unusual because I actually have 3 good corners. Okay, all 3 of these corners are good. Even this one. Okay, and that's unlikely. You won't usually get that many good corners. Okay, so let's pretend that we didn't have 3 good corners here. Right? We didn't have 3 options to begin our commutator. Let's assume that all 3 of these corners are bad. Okay? And the only corners that we can work with are these 2. Okay? These 2 being the orientation problem and this red, white, and blue piece here. I actually looked at this situation when we were solving situations with 4 unsolved corners, where we had to use the orientation problem to begin the commutator. Okay, so let's pretend we could only use these 2 pieces. Okay, is this a good piece? No, it's not. Okay, this red, white, and blue piece is adjacent to where it belongs, but it's not oriented correctly, is it? No, if I do a right side commutator right now and move this piece here, this piece is going to look like that, and as you can see, it's not going to be oriented correctly. Do you remember how we fixed this? How can I move this second corner here so that it's oriented correctly when it gets there? Well, you might remember we can do it using a conjugate on the 3rd corner here. Okay? By bringing this piece down to here, it's going to change the orientation of this piece when it replaces this corner. Okay? And it's also accomplishing our other goal, because our goal isn't to just solve this corner. It's also to take care of this orientation problem, right? By moving this corner to a different location. So it accomplishes both of our goals. So, holding the cube with green on the right, we'll perform our commutator. This corner comes up. And what's that going to leave us? Well, that's going to leave us with 4 unsolved corners. Okay? 4 unsolved corners, and again, we'll look at the corners and figure out which ones do we like the most. Okay, which ones are going to be helpful to us to solve the cube. Okay, well, looking at this green, white, and red piece, I see that that one is oriented correctly. Okay, so I could do a commutator on the left side to solve these 3 pieces. What would that leave me with? Well, or not to solve these 3, sorry, to permute these 3 corners, solving just the first corner, okay? And this piece would not get caught up in the commutator. This piece would be left out, and that's good, because as you can see by looking at this corner, it's a good piece. So we can save this one for our next commutator. So commutator on the left side, we're going to cycle these 3 pieces on top. Okay, leaves me with 2 unsolved on top, and this one on the bottom, okay, which now I'll move to the top, hold the cube with white on top. And because I didn't mess up that corner, I can now use that to finish the cube, right? I need 1 more commutator to solve the last 3 corners, and I don't even need a conjugate. Can you see why? I need orange here, and there it is. So left side commutator, rotate up the orange, and finish. Okay, I know that was probably a little more challenging than our last few videos. Feel free to go back if you need to. There are some more situations that will occur with 5 corners. I'll save that for the next video. And if you're feeling confident and ready, go ahead and click here for part 13.